You figured it out? The nature spirit of sustainable fiber art. This came to me yesterday. This is a skein of sustainable yarn. It's made out of wool from a sheep in Tennessee, and here I am in Ecuador. So sacred to me because the sheep had a spirit. The sheep was alive. And when I work with this yarn, or it's made from this here, this is a little weed. When I work with the yarn, I feel the sacredness, soul. When I touch this leaf, it represents a leaf, but it's made from a live animal. And that's my faith. I believe that I was put on this earth to help people understand the importance of recognizing the sacredness of yarn or a leaf. Now, let me see if I can make this a little bit easier for you to understand. See this ring? That diamond was purchased in 1934. Now, you would say to me, what? You're not that old. No, I'm not. My father was 18 years old when he bought this diamond. He put it in a ring and he wore it until he was 24 years old, 6 years. And he had it made into a ring for my mother. He married my mother when he was 24 and she was 21. She wore it for 48 years. And when she died, my father gave her rings to me. I had the rings reset for my wedding ring. So there it is. Every time I look at this, I think about the spirit, natural spirit, the soul of both my mother and my father. And you don't have any trouble understanding that, do you? That doesn't seem unsensible to you because they were people and they were alive. But every single thing on this planet is connected. And this is a representation of that. Here's a heart, veins and arteries. And this one has veins and arteries. These are two hearts. And this represents nature. Maybe this is a tree. And maybe this is my heart. And I'm breathing the air that this tree gives me, and that's how I'm alive. And maybe this is the heart of a butterfly sitting on my hand. Did you know butterflies have hearts? They do. I checked it out for sure. You can trust me on this one. Butterflies have hearts. Okay, so why am I so incredibly committed, not only to representing with wall hanging, but making small jewelry, sustainable, it's washable. It's made out of only crochet. There's a little stainless steel pin on the back. Pin it on your shirt, on your jumpers, on a hat, on a backpack, on your chair, on a curtain, anywhere. If it reminds you that we're all connected and that we need to take care of our earth, then I've done my job. And that's my job. My job is to release any tension or anxiety I may feel about what's going on in this crazy world. and doing it because I feel what I'm holding, what I'm working with is sacred. And I don't at all hesitate to pay for the soul, hair, fur, whatever you want to call it, of the sheep that made this. This was not $2.98. It's not acrylic. It was $29 and $5 shipping. It's okay. Because if I can make jewelry or a wall hanging that reminds you that respecting our earth is the most important thing we can do right now. Oh, I've got other ones. This fell on the floor. I have them in different colors, different gems, different sizes. No two are alike. You know what that is? Any two fingerprints? They alike? Nope. Ah, that's the reason. No two of these are alike. Because I want you to look at what I made and think, she's right. We are all connected. But that doesn't mean we're all the same and that we should all have the same. It's like taking a pill and the doctor says, well, the protocol says this will work for your stomach ache. And it gives you a headache, but it doesn't help your stomach. Well, that's because it doesn't work for you because you're a unique individual. And you know, we're forgetting that. We really are. And that really bothers me. AI scares me to death. Oh, sure, it gives me an answer, just like that. But is it the right answer? Is it the best answer? I don't know. You can't know. Because I may be asking a question about my best friend or my dog or my chicken. And what AI gives me is a standard answer. But I'd really like something unique. I'd like you to look at my chicken in her eyes and tell me how she is doing. Is she okay? And that's the reason I make all these different pieces. Because we are all people. And we should have something that's just for us. Every one of the pieces I make put a number to designate that that's the only one there is, just like that. Just like that. Got over 100 of them right now. Just found a way to ship them. Haven't had a way to ship them from Ecuador here where we live because my husband's a Vietnam veteran and he can breathe better here. That's one of the problems. Have you thought about it? Have you looked in the sky where you live? Is it blue? So much of the sky isn't. I was out of my therapy tub this morning and the clouds were white as snow and the sky was blue. Not coffee colored, not gray, not dark gray, not charcoal. It was blue. My eggs were organic. The food I'm growing outside is organic. Why? Because just like the sheep, when I pick up an avocado or a mango or some other fruit, vegetable, or root crop, and it's organic, I know that I'm not eating processed food, which is exactly what the lady who sends me this wonderful yarn has said to me repeatedly. Eating the, the food that's served in the United States to most people is like eating processed food or non-organic food or something really awful. And working with uh, artificial yarn is like working with processed food. And we all know that processed foods. I remember I looked it up one time. I looked up a carrot. What's the difference between the amount of vitamin A in an organic carrot and a non-organic carrot? It's like 800 to 18,000 units of vitamin A. Wow. And where are our kids getting fat? We haven't been sacred for our kids either. We've had to cut corners and they're getting fat because their body tells you they are hungry. Their body tells them, you too, that you're hungry because the nutrition's not there. And so you eat more. It's not in the food either. But when I work with this, I know that I'm holding something real. When I pick up the gem, this is a polished stone. No, it's real. When I pick up one of these glass beads made in Czechoslovakia, you see it? I know it was made the old way, and yet, is there anything wrong with the old way? I mean, really? No, we don't get answers as fast. But are they right? Last I heard, about 60% of the AI is right, and the rest, the other 40% is not so right. So let's get back to the sacred sphere. I was raised in a traditional family. My father was Catholic, my mother was Lutheran, her uncle, no, her uncle and her brother were both ministers, Lutheran ministers. So I went to church every Sunday, never missed. So I was ill, and I was ill a lot, medic people a lot. But I was always in church if I was well. I was in choir. I was in Brownie Scouts, Girl Scouts, Senior Scouts, all those things. I learned all the stuff. I took catechetical classes. I graduated, all that. I went to summer camp in church. I did all the things at church. And as I grew older, I said, why is this about us? What about the rest of it? And there are a few places in the Bible where it talks about the trees, fruit. And sometimes it talks about use them up. Go ahead, eat them. No worries. That's why they're there. They're there for you. But our modern life, like the AI, I mean, if it wasn't for modern medicine, I would have been dead at 12. Maybe earlier than that. Fact is, I was sick 5 through 9 with rheumatic fever, and they kept me alive. And at 12, my heart stopped. So I probably would have been gone early. And then there wouldn't be so many people on the planet. And then we could use a lot of things, but it hasn't worked out that way. You know that, and I know that. Sustainable is not, my original training was jewelry design. So I went to 3 different universities to learn it, but the cost of gold has gone from $32 an ounce when I started learning to 4,000. And the reason was it's not sustainable. This is sustainable. I can take 2 sheep a male and a female, put them together and make more sheep. And then when I have those sheep, I can put them together with somebody else's sheep and make more sheep and make more wool. That's sustainable. And how that's affected me is right down to the core of who I am, to the soul of who I am. I don't understand why everyone doesn't have soul. Oh, I have soul. I don't understand why everyone doesn't recycle. I recycle. I use a bamboo toothbrush. I have very large, about 6,000 square feet of organic flowers and vegetables and fruit trees and it's more than that. About 60 or 70 banana trees, aya trees, yucca, mango again. What? All of that isn't just because I want to eat it. It's because I want to share it. Part of recognizing the issues with the way we live now is understanding that we are all one, not just the tree and flower, me, but my neighbor. No matter what color they are, what language they use, what sexual orientation they have, what families they have, what heritage they have, what kind of animals they keep, what political party they're in favor of. Well, none of that matters. What matters is human beings. And they might like to have some of my food because I've got more land. And some of them do. We're all farmers, but some of them have smaller places. And I don't own it. That's part of it. You go and you rent a piece of land, you lease it, and you make it better. You keep pouring money into the land. Sawdust, beautiful different kinds of compost. You just pour it into the land. Why? Because it really matters that we take care of land. We give it the nutrition it needs, that the plants that grow here have the vitamins and minerals they need. I am really a deep ecologist. It colors everything I do, everywhere I go, how I act, how I treat my dogs, what clothes I wear, how I care for my husband, why, and what he's done, and how he feels. But it doesn't matter what others think. That's a hard sell. And I think that's a part of the reason our world has become what it has. I think it's a part of the reason that bias and prejudice and judgment has become such a part of our reality. And they can be the lower class. And we don't go around them because they're the upper class or whatever. I don't think any of that really makes any sense. All people trying to get by. My mother used to talk about starving children in Africa. That's why I had to finish writing. Why should I get fat if they're hungry? Didn't make any sense. So what I was saying was I had this heavy just background, but that didn't make me who I was. I kept thinking, why do we concern ourselves so much with what happens to us after we die, instead of how we live now? And that's what happened to me. I just felt like part of the teachings of most religions, maybe all, I don't know, is take care of the now. Do what you can do for the now, right now. whether it's moth, butterfly, bird, blade of grass, an elephant. It really doesn't matter. They're all here for a reason. We keep cutting our trees down, and that's our oxygen. We keep blowing crap into the air, and that's what we breathe. I don't understand how we can feel good about ourselves. What my husband always says, the way we treat Mother Earth is like using our own mess kit as a bathroom. He didn't quite use those words, but that's close. The idea that we just don't seem to recognize how important it is for our overall our overall sense of being, of who we are, our reactions to things, that using something natural, mashing an organic avocado, picking up a stone, taking off our shoes and stepping in the river, stream, or an ocean, connects us with nature. Nature is non-judgmental. Did you realize that? What we're doing so much is being judgmental of each other. Mostly, we may also be judgmental of all those feral dogs and cats that are the crows that are eating our plants, or the grasshoppers that are doing away with our vegetables. Judgment instead of loving, accepting, taking care of our earth. I have so much respect for Greta. There's a young gal who set out on the stoop at the school every Friday. I know I'm not going to change people's minds. I'm not here talking to you because I'm trying to change your mind. I'm just hoping that little seed of awakeness goes into maybe you, maybe your neighbor, maybe your child watches this and says, "What's that lady talking about? Is she nuts? We're more important than those animals, and those insects, they're nothing." Well, guess what? They're all here for a reason. And that's why I'm here talking. Because I want us to all recognize we're all here for a reason. And if possible, do a work that when you have a choice, especially, that fits with taking care of others. That's what I do now because I'm retired. Before I was retired, I was a special education teacher of children of economically marginalized children. I spoke Spanish. And before that, I had culture garden, 1,200 acres of gardening. For that, served people on me. I knew there was more. Serving people works for me. I took Aquarius, Sun, Mercury, Aquarius, so I'm a humanitarian. That's what all hashes out. But I learned more about myself as the years go on. Why I was when I go outside, there's wild flowers, beautiful yellow flowers. And I'm just in awe that they keep coming back. Something so simple. I take a deep breath and I feel good about it. My dad had an organic farm. Actually, that's where I was born. Maybe that's what affected me. Unfortunately, my father was recalled into the military because he saw space junks on the ground. 1947, Oswald soon made it be quiet and go away. So I had a real weird childhood, chasing around in the military. And maybe that's part of it. I had been to 23 different states by the time I was 8 years old. The only thing consistent in my life, other than my parents, was the church. And yet, even though I was very active in church, listened, I'm a good student, I really listened hard, I still felt something was missing. Something wasn't being told to me. And that was, how do I respect the nature? And what's going to happen if I don't? That's the question. We all have to ask ourselves the same question. If this yarn is not sacred, what is it? If this heart is not sacred, the soil outside is not sacred, but it's the air I'm breathing. It's not sacred. You can see it, of course, in my door's door. There's no air conditioning but heating this house because I chose to live somewhere my husband lived. So we need to make choices, and every day we can make those choices. In the grocery store, clothing store, how we build, how we live. We can make those choices. And we can make the things around us, especially the other folks, the dogs, the cats, the birds, the insects, butterflies, can make them safe. We all did that. We wouldn't be in the mess we're in now. So thank you for listening. I hope you come back again. And if you want to see some of the other things I make, just look at the description, because it tells all about the nonprofit that I've managed for about 35 years, and the counseling that I've been doing 40 years. I do my best. We all do. Sometimes you can be reminded that there's still something else to do, and that would be to honor their birth and all sacred.